Agency in Motion Continuing Education Series. This is an ongoing series for agents, producers, and agency builders in the financial services industry. Today, what we're discussing is getting back to basics and the language patterns that we have in marketing and prospecting and interaction with prospects as well as clients to make sure we're able to master opening, continuing, and directing conversations in a meaningful way to the next action steps that we're trying to get them to take. The first thing that we absolutely have to realize is there's a paradigm shift going on right now in this country. So if people are operating from a mindset that existed during the previous paradigm, they're not going to be successful here. Remember, we grew up, depending on how old you are, hearing that you go to college. That allows you to get a good job. Then, buy a house, pay your mortgage, save a little bit each month, and you'll be set for life. Well, we know that in previous times, our grandparents, our great grandparents, that was good, maybe even rock solid advice because they lived in the same house for their entire life. They had one job for their entire life. They lived on just one income. They retired with a pension. They had no credit card debt. They saved a little money consistently. They could count on Social Security being there. And then after retirement, they only planned on being retired for only a few years. The life cycle was shorter. What on this list looks like it's still relevant today? It's not relevant today because what's happening is our lives has changed. Today we'll, move 4 to 6 times in our life. We'll have 3 to 7 jobs. We'll need 2 incomes just to live. We'll never have a pension unless we self-create one for most of us. We struggle with credit card debt. We save very little money. We're worrying about Social Security being there, or if it is there, what type of major changes are going to be made to it. And we could potentially be retired for decades. So there's a paradigm shift going on right now. If people are still operating in the old paradigm and they haven't, taken a look at what's happening, the changes that are going around them, that's part of how we open conversations and making sure people understand times have changed. Has your thinking changed? Has your action steps changed? Has your execution of that plan of action changed? Because you cannot do new things with old ways of thinking. So 20th century mentality is not going to work in the 21st century in a lot of industries, including ours. Financial services industry has evolved. When you're talking to people about money, it has to be from a new school of thought to help them succeed using the tools, using the resources, using the education that we have now today to get them to a desired end outcome versus just using that old way of thinking, drifting into an unknown outcome. So if you want to create more leads and convert more of those leads to sales, if you want to know how to position your product to sell to your ideal customer, and if you want to know how to get eager referrals off that client base, then you need to understand you're going to have to pick an approach. We have a template and an outline of, how we approach the marketplace, what we do. We all have different personalities. So we're going to pick our best approach, but we all basically have the same message. It's the delivery of that message that maybe will slightly be altered or changed, but you need to pick your approach. And you need to understand on the front side, always, always, always anticipate resistance when you're talking to people about money. People fear money. They're not in good financial positions. They lack financial literacy. So instead of exposing those things, they just will put up resistance, roadblocks, and obstacles. You have to anticipate that. Your goal is to get your prospect talking about their goals, their problems. Remember, 70% of those upfront conversations should be them talking. The more you get them talking, the more information comes out. That uncovers either a problem or a goal that you have a solution for. Now you can introduce an action step. You are selling the appointment, not the product. Well, what is the appointment really? What's it really all about? Is it about education? Is it about introduction? Is it about a discovery? Is it about a disqualification? It's about all those things, but you need to know how to speak to your prospects in a way that makes sense to them. You teach people how money works, but inside, leading to an appointment, those type of, That type of language isn't going to do it. You need to help people understand what they're about to go through. So in the appointments, you're able to share with them the biggest mistakes that most everyone's making. Would somebody like to know the biggest mistakes that most everyone's making so they can avoid those? Hopefully they do. Those are the people we want to talk to. What about the things that successful people have present and without question, others struggle do not? Would that also be important to know? Of course. And the proven strategy that generates whatever it is they're trying to generate, retirement income, debt elimination, asset accumulation, whatever their goal or their pain point is, that's part of the first appointment. So we share the biggest mistakes. We share what the successful people have. We share a proven strategy. That's the type of language patterns that will get people understanding what you're about to take them through and more interested to commit to going through that. We create exact strategies. Most people live in a financial state of confusion. We take that financial state of confusion and we create an exact strategy. And that exact strategy creates confidence. What does that confidence really mean? It means it creates peace of mind and control for the future. Instead of drifting into that unknown outcome, we're creating an exact strategy, a pathway, a bridge to get that person what they want or help them avoid what they don't want. This is very, very powerful because like we talked about before, the financial wellness piece of the entire wellness piece can bleed over. If we're not financially well, it can affect other pieces. What we do here is very meaningful for people. And when you're asked about, the designs, it's not, just talking. It's about answering questions in a quick, direct way and moving on. The design that we'll put in front of you, it creates exact answers. It works with different situations, and it's based on real, proven results. You have to start sorting people on the front side. And when sorting them, it's not all done, hidden from them. Sometimes you are helping them sort themselves out. So in finances, in the money game, in the retirement planning game, whatever it might be, let's just use a very general term. In the money game, I'm sure you noticed people usually fall into one of these two categories. What are the categories? Well, number one, it's in the dark. These are people that are usually ill-prepared, unready, surprised, and blindsided by any and several variables. These are people that worked harder and longer than their money did. So is somebody in the dark? Are they identifying in the dark? Are you starting to lead them to understanding they are in the dark? That's where most people are in this country, and that's exactly the crowd that you want to be not in, the opposite crowd. So the in the dark is where most people are, and where we want to be is the opposite side, the empowered. These are the people who have a clear vision and a plan for data-driven decision-making, having the knowledge and the confidence to put the plan in place, knowing exactly what's going to happen. So are they in the dark? Are they the empowered? If they are in the dark, would they like to know how to become the empowered? It's part of the process of what we do. Because if we don't become the empowered, we just become another sad statistic. So here's how you take control. We've talked to a lot of people, and after talking to countless people, it's become obvious that the empowered have two main key things in place, while the in the dark, they might have one, but they usually have neither. So what are the two things? What's simple? Pretty simple. It's extremely simple. Number one, a predictable strategy that creates something, whether it's creating the linear equation of debt elimination, whether it's creating the pathway to assets, retirement, whatever it is that they're trying to achieve. We have a predictable strategy that we can put in place. And on the backside of that, because remember, strategies come and go, but we have a predictable strategy and a proven process that secures the strategy for the long run with a track record of success. It's not a fly-by-night strategy. This is one that's going to be in place now and going forward with 100% confidence. People get distracted. We have personal, we have professional commitments that we juggle on a day-to-day basis. And if you're a business owner, it's even worse because you're wearing the hats of all the business as well as all the personal. So what we have to understand and what we have to relay to the marketplace is we understand that, but until you're 100% responsible for 100% of your future, you will never, ever be truly free and become the empowered. So once we understand there's true groups of people, and once we understand what group of people we want to be in, now we have to figure out how to get there. And we have to understand it takes commitment. It takes time, energy, resources. We are here to help you with that. The empowered who control their situation have a plan, and they know the following: how much money and how much time. And when you know those two key factors, it's very, very easy to start getting more and more confident about the financial future of your clients, and for them themselves to have more confidence in their financial future. How much time and how much money. The empowered know both of those things down to the specific details. What we do is we'll look at the situation in a detailed way, and that creates the answer or solution that gives the confidence and the control that you're looking for. Once we get that solution, we can solve the puzzle, and we'll show you for free. We'll show you exactly what it looks like, solve the puzzle, but then from that point, you need to understand it's up to you to take any necessary action steps that we can help with. So solve the puzzle, show them the way, but then you also are leading them to the point it is going to demand action from their side. You're going to have command and control. Do you want command and control over your situation or money? You will have it, and you'll have an extremely important piece that moves you forward no matter what environment. You know, the economy changes, geopolitical risk changes. There's a lot that changes. Things go in cycle, but this will be an extremely important piece that no matter what the environment, you continue to move forward, progressing towards your end goals and outcomes. And once again, if we're going to do this, if we're going to lead them to a spot where they understand what they need to do at that point, they should be willing to understand the need to devise a plan of action to reach their expectations and their goals. Plan of action plus execution once the puzzle's been solved, right? The truth is, and this is a combination of disqualification and takeaway. There's some people that we can just not help. If that's the case, we'll be 100% upfront. And if there is an alternative that maybe is appropriate, we'll introduce it at that time. We are only looking for those who are a good fit, who we are absolutely sure we can get the results for they're looking for. The action step. The first step is we need to see two things. Number one, see if I can help you and see if I'm the best person to help you get the results that you want. And then number two, see if you're ready to take the necessary action to generate the results for the strategy. It's not good enough just for you to lay out what they need to do. There's got to be a commitment from the other side. And when you learn to set that up early, take them through, funnel them through this process with these language patterns, it's a lot easier to form that yes formula, get the commitment to take the next action step. Remember, money is a part of life. Money's choices. Money's a mental game. No matter how great your financial situation is or how poor your financial situation, it can change. The laws of reverse work, the laws of attraction work, but all of these things are going to require, if you want a better outcome, you have to make better choices, better decisions, better action steps. And what we've been talking about today is how you lead people down a conversation path or communication path to help them understand how to get what they want, what they need to do, how you fit into the picture, and what they need to do next. We teach people how to get their money right. And, that's a kind of a cliche statement. Teaching people how money works is a cliche statement. But when you break some of this stuff down, help people understand there's different types of people getting different types of outcomes. It's a fork in the road. Now you're helping them make decisions based on what they want or what they want to avoid versus just making decisions because they're fearful or they're unknown or they lack the information to make the right decision. There's a financial sickness in this country. You have the cure. Once you start operating your language, your communication, your marketing around this type of message, it helps people understand, hey, this person's on my team. They're looking to help me. They're willing to sit down and help me map out a way to get what I want. You're up against bad information from the very start. We aren't taught about how money works in schools. For the most part, our family didn't really teach us anything of value, financially speaking. So when you're talking to people, they've had their credit card since college. Great. Student loans really aren't debt. Getting a car loan is the only way. All of this bad information from fixed mindsets and not knowing how money works, you need to replace that bad information with good information. And then you need to understand if you're talking to the same types of people, which is a persona, if you're dialed into a specific persona, you're having the same types of conversations with the same types of people every day, guess what? They have the same types of issues and problems. And when you understand that person, you can start to preemptively overcome some of those obstacles and objections in marketing or in sales before they even come up. Preemptive. The best defense is a good offense. So go on the offense. What are we talking about? That means that you understand that objections are going to be part of the process. So as you're funneling through language patterns, as you're getting people to the point of making decisions, understand sometimes that fixed mindset or some psychological things will come up. You need to understand you have to walk these people through it. Actively listen to what your potential buyer wants. Make sure you're asking clarifying questions about what you heard to make sure you heard it correctly, what they're asking. Educate the prospect on what he or she needs. Don't oversell or just try to cram or close a deal so down somebody's throat. Have a mutual conversation about if and how you can help them, and clarify again if you understand them correctly. The process of letting them speak, letting them get some of this stuff out, and then you clarifying that and helping them understand how to work through that is very, very powerful. You're not selling, you're leading to buying decisions. You do not want to ever, when people are asking you questions, cover too much information. That's asking or answering unasked questions. That's pitching unwanted features or benefits. That's misaligning your solutions to their pain or use case, or saying anything that creates unnecessary risk in the prospect's mind. Answer their question directly and move on. There's typical objections. What are the typical objections? There's 9 of them: unspoken, excuses, malicious, request for more information, show off, subjective, personal, objective, factual, general sales resistance, and last ditch. This could be a whole meeting or session about this. However, we don't have time to cover that today. Brian Tracy does a great job. You can find his videos on YouTube. We post some of our closed Facebook group, covers this exact topic, goes through all 9 of them. What are they? What do they really mean? And how to handle those effectively. You need to handle your sales objections like a professional. And that really means that you need to welcome your prospect's objections. Objections, reclassified, are nothing more than buying questions. If you have enough buying questions that are asked and you answer them in a direct way, clearly, articulately, concisely, that makes sense to the other side, a sale will take place. If you don't welcome your prospect's objections, then they're going to shut down. So welcome them, walk them through that. At the end of each objection, what part of your concern do you still feel is left unaddressed? By the time you get through objections, if there's nothing left that has been unaddressed, it's time to make the close or make the sale and then move on. One of the things that we have to make sure that we understand from an agent, producer, or agency builder perspective, these are the people to stay away from. These are the people that the quicker you identify them and the quicker you get rid of them, the more time you will save, and that time savings can be invested into people that are actually qualified candidates for what you sell or offer. The shopper. These are people that are never, ever, ever going to make a decision. They're going to shop forever, waste a bunch of people's time, and just end up in the same exact situation they are now. The snail. These are the people that move at such a slow pace that you're going to be retired by the time they ever make a decision about what they want to do. The hide and seeker, like a gopher. They pop up, disappear for a while, pop back up, wasting your time when they pop back up only to disappear again. The stacked deck, no matter what you put in front of them, they're not going to go with you. And then finally, the criminal. This is somebody who wants to use your product, services, information for an unethical or criminal way. Get rid of these people. Stay away from these people. They'll just suck your time up. When you are speaking to people and you've done all that you need to do, you've led them through great language patterns on the front side, you've solved their issue, you showed them for free, you told them what needs to be done, they're still not willing to take the action step, you need to walk them through. What is stopping them? Everything they want is right in front of them. What is stopping them from taking the next action step? Because you have to, almost like a financial therapist, be able to walk them through why they are making a terrible decision by taking no action at all. Remember, not making a decision is actually making a decision really to fail. The money game meets technology. What we talk about and some of the outcomes that we can produce now with technology would have taken a group of advisors, CPAs, agents, whatever it is that we're putting them in, the product or the service, Technology makes things easy. It levels the playing field. So with that in mind, you have to make sure people understand they are making mistakes. Small mistakes add up. A few years ago, this statistic, in 2019 alone, not knowing how to manage personal finances cost Americans more than $307 billion. Article recently came out, on average, $1,800 is lost per year by the average American just by making simple financial mistakes, by not knowing how money works. So if we could show you a button, and you can speak to this for yourself, for your partners, for your clients, that can make conditions perfect for you to become successful in this business, in your financial picture, in your financial future, in retirement, would you press it? Money is important for everyone all the time, especially now. That never changes. So what we do in teaching people how money works and teaching people to become an entrepreneur, with what's happening now and suspected to happen in the future, people need both of these more now than ever. So reinvent yourself, reimagine yourself, relaunch yourself, grow your activity, max out this moment. Dreams don't have recessions. These are messages to yourself, messages to your partners, messages to your clients. Today, we've been talking about some language patterns that help people understand where they are, how to get to where they need to be, what they need to do, how you fit in. All of it's laid out in a very easy flow format. If you get good at, like I said, mastering the art of opening, continue, and directing communication, your business, whether you're building a book of business or agencies, will flourish. Agency in Motion continuing series on how to build, operate, and manage agencies in the 21st century.